Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Los. I thought I would make a quick video here to show you how to make charts within Google Sheets. And so let's get right down to it. So let's assume you've done some experiment or you have some data that you want to graph and you want to put some stuff on the x-axis and some stuff on the y-axis. I would start by suggesting that you put the x-axis stuff on the left and the y-axis stuff on the right, like I've done here. Now these numbers are more than likely going to have units. We'll talk more about that in a second. But do not put units actually on the numbers that you intend to graph here. Just leave them as the bare numbers. And then we want to go ahead and highlight this data. Just click and drag across to highlight, and then we can insert a chart. Now, Google will try to guess the kind of chart that you want, and it may or may not guess correctly, but also this chart editor menu pops up here. Now, you can close that by pressing that, but if you ever wanted to get it back, you can press that button again. So there's two sides here. There's the setup and the customize. So starting with the setup, I would say more often than not in science, we often, although not always, but we often want to do a scatter plot. So that's the one that I'm going to select to start with. But you have other options there depending on exactly what you're trying to do. And for the most part, we could do some maybe more advanced things, but like adding other lines on this. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to leave it at this. So from here, what we probably want to do is clean up this chart a little bit and make it look a little better and add the things that charts and graphs need. So customize. So the chart style is just some things you could change, the color and things like that. So chart and axes titles. This is important. So notice there's a drop-down menu here where we could change the chart title, the horizontal, that's horizontal, or the vertical. That'd be the x-axis. That would be the y-axis. So now right now I've just got this labeled as y-axis, but when you really do it, you're going to have some kind of unit almost always. Let's just say let's call it a volume. Let's call it a volume in milliliters. So notice that changed that for me there, and then we could change the horizontal axis. Let's call that time. So notice a great way to label your axes is the actual variable that you're measuring, or the thing that you're measuring, I guess, and then the variable you're measuring it with. So in this case, time in seconds. Now, as far as a title for the graph itself, we want a nice descriptive title that describes what the person is looking at when they look at your graph. And what's nice is to actually describe exactly what the variables are in each instance. Now, I'm just doing a made-up example here, but ideally maybe your title would be even more specific than that, more relating to what you have. I could put some units in here, but sort of kind of the bare minimum probably type title that I need might be something a little bit like that. Now, that's a nice enough graph. There is some more things that we could do here. And you could mess with some more stuff with fonts and stuff like that if you want to try to make it look a little prettier. Series, and again, here's some things where we could like change what color this is and things like that. And maybe you're plotting two different lines on the same axes, but again, that's getting a little fancier than what I want to get to on this. We can change the size of the dots and that kind of stuff to make that look how we want. Depending on how advanced you are, you can do things like adding error bars. And things like that. But what you often want to do in a science graph is make a trend line. So here we have a nice linear trend line, and we could maybe use that. We could generate the equation for the line there if we wanted to. We could show something called an r-squared value if you need to. And so there we have a nice plotted graph with a linear trend line. And we could make a legend. This would be like a key, and there's various other stuff that we could do. We could make the scaling different, which that can be done in here, and lots of other stuff we could mess around if we needed to. Grid lines, we could add more grid lines if we wanted to make more grid lines and all that kind of stuff. So plenty of stuff to mess around with. But I just wanted to give you the just kind of the bare bones basics to get you started making graphs, and to give you some stuff to think about. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a great day.